TV jingle that's like, plug it in.
Plug it in. Oh wait,
Is it like Febreze or something?
I want to see
it's
the
like
lady
air freshener.
Yeah, it's a Glade air freshener, right?
So I was just like, it's going through my head.
Nice.
Oh.
Right? So we're live. That's fine. Let's plug it in. It's Tech Thursday. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Kassie.
And this is the first time that we're actually, so we're on Google Hangout. Hi, Google Hangout people. We're also on Periscope. Hi, Periscope people. At the same time, because I just wanted to see sort of maybe which one got more reach or like, yeah.
Just like we're double fisting video streaming.
That was awesome. No, you said it this like that's awesome. So for those of you who've never watched a Tech Thursday, this is approximately 20 minutes where we sit down on Thursday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, or sorry, 10 a.m. God, yeah, thanks for knowing the time, Kath. And we talk about something technology related, and sometimes people watch, sometimes people share, sometimes people leave comments. So we try to have a topic every week, and this week we have a special one for you.
Yeah, we're talking about plugins for WordPress stuff because I've been doing a lot of just general stuff with websites and in formatting pages and like trying to figure out what you want to do. 9 times out of 10, there's a plugin that will do what you are looking to get done.
Right, and every time I think I've seen it all, like about once a week I find something and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I don't have to figure out how to do that because someone else has figured out how to do it and created a little program called a plugin that we can install on a website and use, which is awesome.
Did you ever hear the saying that was like, there's an app for that?
Totally.
Like, there's a plugin for that.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said, even for stuff I didn't even think of there being plugins for.
Yeah. So my example is one thing that is like the bane of my existence is trying to format pages with pictures and getting things to line up. And I'm by no means an expert at this. It's just every time it's like a new, fresh experience of like for some reason the text is doing stuff weird and it's running together. And I can't get the code. Like when I try to go in the code, it's still weird. And this is like this whole thing. I spent hours wrapping my brain around it and I still don't get it. But there's a plugin for a table, so you can just like format pictures and tables. So it'll, in theory, line up a little bit easier, which once you get it set up, it looks really nice on the front end.
Totally.
And it's easy for someone, in theory, to go in and edit that's not you.
Right.
Some pages that I did were like, I don't want to have to ever go back and fix this.
Well, the other thing too is like, so you early, like you like 90s old school web designers know that everything used to be in a table. Like when people made a menu, they used to make a 1-column table and they would make a menu and that was a table. And then there'd be a table underneath it. So you look at some of these really old websites and it's like tables upon tables upon tables. It's like Inception, but with tables. Like there's like tables everywhere in the code, but we still need tables. Like Kassie says, if you want to put a picture right next to a thing of text, and sometimes it's like a little bit off, the way that you make it.
It's so frustrating. It's just a little
It's like a little off and it looks stupid because it's a little
and then
off.
you try to fix it and then it's like suddenly a lot off and you're like.
But what a table does is it forces things to be within little cells, right? So it's like, okay, the picture fits in here and the text fits in here, align to the top, and those two things should still align with each other. Now, back in the day, we didn't have to worry about responsive tables because cell phones came in a bag, right? So what Kassie said is like, okay, well, I have to have a response. I can't just HTML code a table anymore because it's not going to be responsive necessarily. So there's a plugin that makes a responsive table, theoretically, after some trial and error. But tables are still a pain in the butt to this day, but it's something we still have to deal with because that's how you get things to line up. That's one of the ways anyway. Yeah, totally. But rather than Kassie pulling her hair out because she's trying to CSS a table, it's nice to find a plugin and she can just kind of theoretically put stuff in and maybe, okay, wait, I'm like one space off, delete the space. And versus if you were hand coding that,
Well, remember the time, this is just a funny Kassie story because I don't quite understand necessarily coding in plugins. I'm like maybe at 20%.
Oh, you're
So-
going further than that. You're getting there.
But there was that one time when I didn't actually install any table plugin, and I just started like make like in the code like make a table, and it was just like I don't know what you're talking about. Where is this coming from?
I know, I told Cassie, I'm like, make a table. And she's like, what? Yeah, I know. Sorry. Sometimes I'm not like the best teacher in the world, but
Well, I'd done it before, and then I was like, oh, I'll just make a table, and then it
yeah.
didn't do it because I didn't have a plugin to go along with.
Making the responsive table with the short code. Yeah.
just nothing was happening. It's
Well-
like I just had words in the back.
Yeah, because like Cassie says, like if someone wants like a bunch of their logos on a page and you want them to line up, you want to be able to hand them their page and say, hey, if you want to switch out this logo for this one, you don't have to go into and like code the table. You can just like delete this photo and add another photo. And because a lot of times plugins just make it easier for clients. So we had a client who really loves fonts and wanted to be able to use her own fonts on her website, right? So I was like, crap, how am I gonna tell this person that, how am I gonna explain CSS to this person, right? How am I gonna explain that, like, well, and I was like, okay, she's, comes from a design kind of print background, so I didn't have to lecture her about using 10 different fonts on a page or something stupid like that. She just wanted to be able to, manipulate the fonts on a page. And so what was it called? Font My Face, I think is the plugin. And I was like, great. So you upload the fonts. So you can download little zip file. You can be like, oh, I like this font package, and you can download it on the internet, and it gives you a zip file. And then what you do is you take the little zip file, upload it, give it a name and font face, and then when you're in your WordPress page or post and you want to use that, you just highlight it and then pick the font from the little drop-down menu, and ta-da, it turns into that font. So I was able to take all 5 fonts that she wanted, load them up, and just say, and just send her a quick little screenshot of like, here's how you change your font. And she's like, this is awesome. So she didn't have to learn this whole thing. She just wanted to be able to accomplish this task. So I thought that was pretty neat. And like I said, usually finding cool plugins is because a client has asked for something, and the last thing I want them to do is have to learn another coding language or something to just be able to execute this like one thing they want to do. But I think my favorite plugin ever is Gravity Forms.
Oh,
That's
that's
my favorite.
Gravity Forms.
Yeah.
It just does so many cool things.
Yeah.
And then you can duplicate the forms. That's like my favorite.
I didn't know you could duplicate the forms. I was telling Cassie, like, oh man, I had to make 5 payment forms, and like, it just like.
Oh, you know what it was? You had assigned something to me, and it took me like maybe half an hour to do it, and you thought it was going to take longer, and I was like, well, yeah, you just duplicate the form.
And I was like, you can do that? So.
Yeah, you just, yeah.
But I really like this form software because you can do recurring payments with it. So like you can set up a donation form, and if you wanted to like have your people give $5 a month or $10 a month or something like that, you can set it up with this form. You can also have people pay for products, and you can even do inventory control in it. So you can say like, okay, don't let more than 10 people buy this product. Mm-hmm. So if you just had like, say 25 copies of this book that you wrote, you could sell it on your website and know that people wouldn't be able to buy it after all 25 copies had theoretically been sold.
Yeah, and you don't even really need it for payment stuff. You can just have it just because.
It's true, yeah. It does payments, but you can just make a form that does, collects information.
And it has all those add-ons. Like you can have Stripe, or you can connect it to like MailChimp or Constant Contact. And like it just integrates really well with stuff that you might already have going on.
Right, so if someone says, would you like to subscribe to email newsletter? And someone says yes, it'll automatically take their email address and add it to your database.
And you can even like in MailChimp or something like create a little list like Gravity Forms people, so you can connect it to like that particular list.
It's true, yeah. So it's
That's
just
the thing you want to do.
Well, I just think most people like can use a form, right? Like most people can use a form on their website to, whether it's a basic contact form or you want to collect some initial information to set up an appointment, or whether you want a donation or you want, you know, to take a survey. I mean, most people use forms. Forms are easy for people to fill out, and they're, you know, they collect the information you want to collect from them. So like I said, most businesses and nonprofits I know use forms for something, at least one thing once in a while. So that's one of my favorites. We put it on just about every site that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
yeah, I do. I mean, there's just some really nice stuff out there. I also I found this plugin the other day. So when a client has a slow website, what we used to have to do is we would disable all the plugins and slowly turn them back on, check the load time. Turn it back on, other one back on, check the load time. Because you're looking for the thing that's slowing it down. But I found this plugin, and of all people, GoDaddy makes it. So if you're, what's it called? P3 Authentic or something like that. There's a, if you just Google like, what is it? Like website load plugin or something, this will come up. I think it's called P3. And what it does is it analyzes your plugins and it tells you like, okay, for like next gen gallery is taking up 60% of your load time. So it'll show you which plugins are slowing things down relative to other things you have on your site. So it's taken some of the guesswork out of what we used to have to do even like 2 years ago or even a year ago. I don't know how long this plugin's been out. I feel like it must be relatively recent because, you know, people don't, I mean, you don't want a slow website, and the faster you can get to the root of why it's slow and fix it, the better your life is. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's just cool that there's, like I said, there's like a problem and someone has made a plugin and solved it. I just think that's really neat.
Yeah, and it's just so easy to, and I just forget that that's there. Like I feel like I need to be able to beast it out and like reinvent the wheel, and that's just not the case. You can just go like search your own plugins and
yeah,
see what's up.
Yeah, and see like, you know, what other people are using. I mean, you can even, if you find a WordPress site or something that you like, I mean, you can tell whether it's a, you know, WordPress site or not. You can just look at the source code and see like what plugin is like. You're like, oh, I really like this photo gallery, and you can look it up and be like, oh, that's trying to go photo gallery software that I like. That's a Flickr enabled photo, you know, that's pulling in photos from this Flickr account or something like that with this particular Flickr plugin or whatever. But you can actually see like, you know, you can find something you like and then sort of, you know, that's how we found that event manager plugin that we use with a lot of people. So we were looking at a theater website we were working on, and then we're like, oh, well, these events look really nice. Like they don't, you know, it was just like displaying kind of like the concerts and things that are coming up. We're like, oh, this is really nice. And we looked at the code and it was, you know, event manager. And we're like, cool. Like, so we had like another client that also needed a list of events. So we just used event manager, and people can search it by, you know, by date or by category, or you can show things in a list or in a calendar form. Like, you know, so there was like a lot of, and then there's the pro version, which just means you can take a payment for, you know, if you're selling tickets or something like that. So the event manager lets you display them and all that. And then the pro, I think it's like $50 a license or something, lets you integrate with, you know, PayPal Pro or a couple of other ones to take payments. So, you know, but we found that because we were looking at a website that was running it, and we just liked the way it looked. And we just looked at the code and we're like, great, it's cool, wonderful, and check. But yeah, and it doesn't even have to be anything complicated. It can be, like Cassie said, like making a table, you know, making something just work that isn't working.
I think tables are complicated.
Well, I think they are, but it's not like it's not a huge booking system where it's not like taking payment. It's just like, I want to get this to display nicely. I want to change the font of this page. Like these are not tall orders here. And, well, people ask me a lot about like Squarespace and Wix and stuff, and they're like, "What do you think about that?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, if you're gonna have a website that displays information, it's fine. But if you want to start having it do stuff, you know, I mean, we can go in WordPress and be like photo gallery, and we can pull up like literally hundreds of options of what the photo gallery could look like. But with a plug and play software like that, you're kind of, you're a little bit more restricted in terms of your options. So, you know, yeah. What other plugins do we use a lot with people? I'm trying to think.
I mean, you can do like functional stuff like backups and security.
That is a really good point.
In addition to like things that people are gonna see, these are also like things that are happening on the back end. So I think WordPress kind of automatically does, or does it come with backup stuff? Like you don't necessarily have to install a plugin
So
to perform a backup, right?
You could back it up yourself, but it's kind of annoying and tedious. Like, I mean, you could go in FTP and back it up. Yeah. But you're a web host, so if you have a web host somewhere, most web hosts do at least nightly backups. So if you screwed something up, the best thing to do, well, you should have backed it up first, but okay, let's pretend you're not there. The best thing to do is to contact the web host right away and say, hey, I screwed something up. Do you have a backup of my site? And a lot of them do have backups, and they can restore a backup for you. Now, if you do this all the time, they're going to be annoyed at you until you get a backup plugin so you can back it up yourself. But yeah, don't wait. Like, I had a client once wait 2 weeks to tell me. They were like, our website's been offline 2 weeks. Do you have a backup? But the problem was we didn't, because we only kept backups for like a week. Lesson learned. Install automated backup software on everyone's website. But yeah, that stuff is really important. But yeah, like I said, running a backup, especially before you do something major. Like if you're about, like Cassie's about to do some major stuff on the website after this video, we're gonna run a backup, and then, worst case scenario, it's 2 hours lost, not, days of work lost. So what I tell people is if you're working on your site all day, back it up a couple of times, like run a backup, take a coffee break, run another backup. It's not like it takes a long time to run. These plugins, like I said, they usually spit out a zipped file. So it like takes all the things and kind of crunches them together, and you just download it onto your computer. Worst case scenario, yeah, you screw up your website, you just send this back up to someone like me or Kassie, and we can get it back online for you. But yes, automated backups are something most people don't see and most people don't do. So cheers on you for remembering that one.
That's the syncing backup, but it's a plugin that like going through the list.
Yeah, we really like Backup Buddy a lot. It's not only is it good for backups, but for us to like move a site live. Like we might move a site live this afternoon. That's good. It makes it, we can move it very easily with a plugin like that, from one server to another. It's pretty cool. It's super cool. And then the other plugin that we like, which I think people get really confused by, is WordFence. And it's just like a security thing. So basically you can set it to email you when stuff happens. So I had one really paranoid client once, and she was convinced that her old business partner was trying to hack into her website. Convinced. So what I did was I set up this WordFence thing, and I said, okay, email me anytime files change on this web server. So like anytime like a page was updated or something like that, I would get an email. So I got a call from her a week later, and she's like, and I was like, yeah, like we've been monitoring your files and your files haven't changed. So no one's trying to hack your site. I don't think she quite believed me. She quite believed me. I didn't know what to tell her. But you can install, anytime someone successfully logs into your website, you can get an alert. Anytime someone uploads something, you can get an alert. I mean, you can set up, you can annoy the crap out of yourself with these emails. Or you can have someone like us like monitor your website for you, and we can just keep an eye on them. But it's just nice to know, like, especially if you have a lot of people working on your site, like maybe you have a couple of interns and some employees and whatever, it's nice to know who's going in and out of the site, so you can just kind of keep an eye on it. Yeah. And there's lots of other plugins like that, but the file monitoring and the backing up is like something most people don't think a lot about, but it's nice to have. Any other deep thoughts about plugins? As you can see, we painstakingly rehearse this every week before we before we record. All right. Well, good topic, Cass. Let's do it again next week.
Woohoo! If I completely forgot the sign off. Oh my god.
If you have any questions for us, like I said, we do this every week and we try to have a topic. We've never had anyone suggest a topic. People have asked us to do things, but it really has nothing to do with technology. So if you have a technology question or request, please leave it in a comment in this video, which is on YouTube, or you can go to our website, breakingunique.com, and we have a contact form there that you can fill out. We're open to suggestions. We're also open to the idea of guests. If you happen to be in the Bar Harbor area, and let's face it, who isn't in the Bar Harbor area at this lovely time of year, and you have a topic and you want to be on, we're open to that. We've got extra chairs. We can move this little table that's holding our coffee, and we can sit someone right here.
Right in between us.
Right between us.
We can work out the details of configuration later. You don't have to sit in between us, but it's an option.
Most people want to. All right.
Detailed in the comments. Just kidding. All right. I'm done.
All right. Me too. We'll see you guys next week. Bye. Hold on. So we're stopping the broadcast on